Well, let's turn to gaming. New Zealand is passing legislation to regulate online casino gambling. The bill establishing a licensing regime of up to 15 online casino operators is expected to be launched by December. Let's get some detail. Tom Waterhouse joining us from Waterhouse VC. Tom, welcome back.
Thanks, Andrew. Good to be back.
So the Kiwis getting in front of Australia, certainly, but okay, give us some detail here. So it'll likely to go live towards the end of the year. Just talk us through what the detail is.
Yeah, look, the government, obviously they've had a big problem similar to Australia. There's been large offshore leakage, casino operators offshore taking money from New Zealanders. And the government's they're in talks to issue 15 licenses, casino licenses only, and for those to go live by the end of this year. So obviously Entain has got that agreement with New Zealand for sports betting for 25 years. So this is basically 15 casino licenses only. And it's very interesting, especially interesting for us because we look at the suppliers and we've been in talks with several suppliers about basically catering for this New Zealand market, making New Zealand specific. And so, yeah, 15 licenses hopefully will be issued and hopefully 15 suppliers into the region also.
New Zealand's got to be a tiny market though globally, so why is this significant?
I think it's significant because it's regulating online casino, which is a big part of the ecosystem. Like obviously anywhere where casino is allowed, it's the most dominant portion. So in Australia, let's say there's $30 billion lost. It's like 10-15% is sports betting and racing and the rest is casino products. Obviously in Australia, you haven't got online casino allowed, but there's significant money flowing offshore for online casino from Australians.
So I was going, the expectation then New Zealand are going to be able to claw back that lost revenue.
That lost revenue. So casino is still, New Zealand would have the size of the population of New South Wales, something like that. So it's still significant. And obviously it's a wealthy nation, New Zealand. So 15 casino licenses, it's a pretty big deal. And also it's a big deal for countries like Australia and other countries. Does this solve the leakage going offshore? Is this have they stopped it? Because Brazil did something very similar. They allowed onshore operators buy a license and can offer sports betting, casino, and they stopped the payment mechanism from offshore operators accessing it unless they were licensed. And that seems to have worked well 2 years in. New Zealand's another test case.
Well, Tom, let's turn to Australia then and the issues presented here then. And once again, that leakage, because you're saying the offshore sector is growing much faster than what is legally available here. So how large a problem is that for Australia then?
Look, the Australian Wagering Association estimated $3.6 billion is leaking offshore to illegal operators, casino operators. I think since COVID, if I had to estimate, I think it's bigger than that. And it's a really big issue for Australia because ever since COVID, there's been an acceleration online and people aren't going to the casinos or the land-based operators the way they used to. They want to access it on their phone. And the ability, whether it's through VPN, and many of them you don't even need a VPN, and to access through normal payment rails is you're able to in Australia, unlike places like Japan, Brazil, US. So it's a big issue, and the biggest issue I think is that it's really the people that are being targeted are the people with the biggest problem. So 50%, they estimate that 50% of the people betting with these illegal casino operators, 50% of them are the ones that have signed up for BetStop, so problem gambling people. And also most of the population in Australia don't realise that it's illegal to bet with these offshore illegal operators. They also can't tell the difference when they go on an online betting site. Is it a legal one or is it not a legal one? So I think Australia has a big opportunity because they can clamp down on it from a payments point of view. They can also collect the revenue if they regulate it properly. And I think New Zealand's going to be very interesting. Do they do it well? Does it work? And if it does, well, Australia's at least got a blueprint it can copy, which is very close to home, and hopefully bring money, tax revenue onshore, and also player protection.
Is the government listening? Now, obviously this has proved to be a very prickly subject, the issue of particularly online gambling, the anti-gambling lobby pressing hard for the government to do more, to greater legislation. What about the likes of yourselves at Waterhouse VC? Are you making representations to the government saying, listen, you're losing out big time here, this is a way to plug the hole?
Yeah, look, it's our area of our focus is mainly overseas on the suppliers, global suppliers. But I think it's very interesting because obviously the government wants to protect Australian citizens, and opening up gambling is a hard. It's sort of not. They're like, well, why would I want to open up gambling? So the issue that they've got is how do they protect the Australian consumers? How do they collect the tax revenue? How do they do it in a way that doesn't open it up and make it a worse problem? Now, we don't know if they should be opening it up or not, but definitely clamping down on the offshore leakage and the money that's leaving, and also that the people that are really being impacted the most, that have the biggest problems, are the ones that are being targeted. I think that's probably the first thing that they have to look at. It's not our area of focus. We've done probably only 2 deals in Australia over the last 6.5 years. Most of the deals we do are overseas. But we see New Zealand's really brought it back into focus because we're now speaking to all these suppliers that are hopefully going to New Zealand. And if New Zealand works, well, it's definitely something for Australia to look at.
So potentially New Zealand showing the way. Do you know, has there been any political blowback in New Zealand?
No, so they're still in discussions with the government. It's not set in stone that it'll be by December this year, but definitely there's people looking, well, how do we make sure that we can win the bid, because it's an auction process, and how do we have the right tech stack? So we're just in those beginning discussions, speaking to several of those tech operators, but it's not set in stone. So if it does come about by the end of this year, well, it's definitely something for Australia to look at.